couple of seconds. Okay, so now we're recording. So the issues that we had, I was hoping that you wanted to work through the tech with me on this, because every time I do a Google Hangout or a Skype or something, but usually I try to use Google Hangout with a group that's doing the book study. I'm so not great at this that I have to like go through this list of, okay, so is your microphone on? Is my microphone on? Are my headphones on? Are your headphones on? You know, all of those things. And we just did that for another like 20 minutes. So the problem this time was that before we got online, I just opened my computer and a YouTube. It had died last night. My battery died. So a YouTube video blasted, you know, right when I got power back. And I immediately muted my my laptop, and I just didn't think about it. You know, I'm working along, I'm waiting for you to come in the chat, and then we're testing everything, and I didn't even think that my actual laptop was muted. So that's one thing people need to check if they can't hear each other. The other thing is I've had my headphones plugged in before, but my system wasn't recognizing my headphones. So, you know, you want to go to your settings and make sure that, usually for me, that just means I unplug my headphones and plug them back in, and I get And then the microphone wasn't working for me. I like to use an external microphone because I have one, and so why not use it because it sounds better. And I can't tell you how many times I've done a Hangout or some kind of video, something, or audio, and I thought I was using it because it's plugged in and the little light is on, but it was actually recording from my laptop. And that's not a real bad thing. You just get a lot more external bathroom sound, you know? So if I'm going to sit here with this big thing in front of me, I might as well be using it. And that was the exact same thing, is that I needed, and to test that, all I do now is just, I tap on my microphone and I make sure that I see the little green, you know, that it's not, and then I could say, oh, no, it's coming from the computer. Anyway, so that's just a couple of tech things. What kind of issues did you have logging in? What I did was I sent, good night, I should even just say, I'm talking to Sarah. I'm talking to Sarah Whitfield from North Carolina, and we're super excited that we're going to do a book chat with her teachers over boosting achievement, but not till next Friday. So we thought we'd do a little, let's check our technology stuff. So thank you, Sarah, for checking technology with me.
Thank you.
What issues did you have? Because this is your first time to try Google Hangouts, right?
Right. And I've never used Google Hangouts. I think that I was operating under with Firefox, and that was what it was. So when I went to my Google Chrome, I thought, well, Google Chrome will work with Google better. So
yeah, I know.
I just typed in my my credentials, and it just took me directly to it. So I used the same link that you did, like that you gave me, but the fact that I was on Firefox, it wouldn't let me in.
That's it's like a breakout EDU or something. Like, what are all the little clues that we need and things we need to try to unlock this? Because I wouldn't have thought of that either. And a lot of times I get on my computer and whatever, I don't know why, but I never use some browsers. Like I never use Explorer anymore because I'm doing so much in Chrome. But sometimes it'll be an Explorer because I went to that link through something and it defaulted to that. So we wouldn't have thought about that. But I guess at least in your situation, Firefox didn't want to work friendly with it. So that's something to check. And I wouldn't have thought of that either. But of course, you're right. Google Chrome is going to work better for a Google Hangout. And then a lot of us didn't realize that Google Hangouts are now YouTube Live. Like it's all one big family. YouTube is Google and Google is YouTube, kind of, so it just helps. I just try to stick with the same things. And so the other reason I like a Google Hangout when we talk with your teachers is if anybody wants to be on their own device, they're going to hear better than being in a group sitting around a laptop. It's not necessary. We can definitely do the crowd around a laptop thing. We did that just with some teachers in Tennessee just a couple of weeks ago, and it worked out great. But the audio, the only problem that I didn't realize until after, I was having trouble hearing some teachers that were sitting in the semicircle. And, you know, it was like 4 or 5 teachers. They could hear me just fine. And so it worked. It worked just fine. But if we wanted to use that video, and I think it's a great idea to always have these little pieces out there for other people who are trying to do this kind of thing, other authors, other people doing book chats and stuff, was that, okay, what we didn't realize was the microphone on the laptop must have been somewhere on the left side or on the right side of their laptop, because I could hear that guy sitting over there really, really well. And I could really not at all hear someone sitting on the other side. And at one point they moved the laptop around and then I could hear everybody just fine. Right. And at the end of the day, we're really just there to talk about kids and talk about this book, you know, and what were their questions. But you do, like, here, they may want to use that video for professional development within their district, or they may want to use it to revisit you know, I learned things from the way that they're using. I wanted the video because they had such amazing environmental print of stuff they'd done with their students. So I'm screenshotting everything afterwards to show other teachers, look what these newcomers can do. So, when you guys do yours next Friday, when we get together, it's just something to think about. Do you want teachers to be on their own laptops? Because that's what I was going to say. Google Hangout is awesome because you can add more participants. It's different than Skype. I can have like 10 people in here.
And that's what I was thinking about, because I thought, how are we going to all, because I'd never used Google Hangout. So I thought, okay, well, it'll just be up on the screen, like we're all Skyping as a group, but that will be even better, that we can like have, you know, they would be on each of their laptops. So
yeah, it adds a layer of complexity to, but look, we figured it out just now. We can, now that you and I know that we can connect, the rest of it, anybody having tech issues, like what's the big deal? Let's just figure it out. It's not a big deal. We can still, here's what, I don't know if you know Christine Tenney, who's in our PLN. Where's Christine? I'd want to say she's in Tennessee too, but I might be wrong. Like, I'm going to find her real quick, because I Skyped with her teachers exactly like what you're saying. They did a book chat, and hang on, because it's driving me crazy, because she's like in my inner circle power PLN person. You know how that is. She's Dr. Tennyson. I know that on Dr. C. Tennyson. Yeah, she's in so Christine is in Tennessee also, and at the end of their book chat, about a month or so, at the end of their book study, they did exactly what you're talking about. We did a Google Hangout, but I think they projected me onto a screen the way that the way my class does when we have an archaeologist or somebody we're going to talk to. And then the people this is what I do with my students. We put my laptop up right next to the active board. And when someone has a question, they walk up and get close to the external mic, and they ask their question, and then they go back, and then the guest speaker talks. So that totally works. We don't have to freak people out by saying you're gonna have to get a headphone and mic and all that. It doesn't have to be like that. It's however y'all want to set it, however you want to set it up.
Okay,
so
perfect. Great. I'll have to check our tech facilitator and see how we can do that, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, your cell phone and my cell phone could be this, that's plan C is, I've done that too, where everything failed, but really the bottom line is that we want to talk about what you guys did over the last few weeks with your book study. And I want to connect with them, and I want to hear about it, and I want to answer any questions. I don't know, based on what it sounds like to me. And I'm just so honored that y'all want to talk about it. I'm super excited.
Yes, they're excited. And I sent them an email to make sure that date was good. But they're just like, when I told them, I was like, I'd connect with Carol over Twitter, and like Facebook and Twitter, just crazy story. And then just thinking about, I was like, we can talk to the author. We can I said it'll be a great opportunity for us, and so we're excited.
Yeah, I'd love to bring Emily Francis in on it if she wasn't teaching. I'm sure she's teaching at 8 in the morning on a Friday, but she's in.
She's my sweet friend, so of course.
I know that's how I met you, and I was just so excited to meet you last year at the beginning of all of this. Okay, so who are the teachers that are coming, just so that I kind of know ahead of time? Is it just your elementary? It's Rocky River Elementary? Is that where you are?
I'm at actually 2 schools. I'm at Rocky River Elementary, but then I'm at J.N. Freeze. The school that is doing the study is J.N. Freeze, and it's just interesting because the reason that I started all this was because their population of ELs has just grown and grown, because they've gone from a strictly STEM school, and now they've gone to a neighborhood school. It's still STEM, but they've opened up, they've opened up the enrollment to the neighborhood. So
okay, I'm looking for it here. I wonder if they have a Twitter account, Jam Freeze.
They do have a Twitter account.
Tell me what it is real quick.
Okay, here, let me try to find
it. You might not know off the top of your head. But I mean, how do you spell the elementary's name? I'm sure I can find it.
Rocky River Elementary. ROC.
No, I've got Rocky River.
Okay.
But those aren't the teachers doing the book study, right? The teachers doing the book study are from Jam Freeze. Is that what you said?
Yes, J.N. Freeze. Do you need to know how to spell J.N. Freeze?
Is it Jan, like the name Jan, and then Freeze, like?
It's like J, the letter J.
And
then N, the letter N, and then freeze as in fries. That's weird.
I knew it was something like that.
That's what it is under on Twitter.
Tell me again.
It's J.N. Freeze Magnet. It's backwards, but
it's okay. I can figure it out. J.N. It's together. J.N. Freeze. You know what? I'm sure anybody who ever watches this video is like, seriously, y'all are taking time to do this? Yes, we are. And I'm so sorry that we are, but okay, I just want to follow them. Okay. Teresa Palma is there. Okay, awesome. Okay. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Hang on. I'm going to scribble something out. Hang on. J-N-F-R-I-E-S. That's awesome, because I've seen you doing some stuff, and I wonder if it's your classroom or if you're supporting the teachers in classrooms. And so when I see things that you're doing, like there's pictures of you out there with kiddos, that's not your classroom. You're going between the 2 schools and supporting teachers?
Yes, I go in between those 2 schools, but then like I'll take at J.N. Freeze, I take my newcomers out every day. There's a pull-out session, but they'll also go in, and I go into math and ELA and things like that. So
awesome. So you have kind of a hybrid. You're doing more than one thing.
Yes, that's great.
Okay. I know, it's nice because everything has pros and cons. So whatever, if it's pull out or push in or anything, you can just capitalize on what's great about whatever that model is. Right. So that's pretty great. Okay, so look, we're gonna take a screenshot later. Oh, is it backwards? Is that backwards?
No, it's perfect.
Are you sure it's not backwards? It's backwards on my screen.
It's perfect. Oh my gosh.
I wonder if it will be backwards in replay. Okay, we'll figure it out. Hi.
I can take a screenshot.
Well, we can take it later. That's even the cool thing. Is that so yeah. I'm so excited. So later, this YouTube, this is the other thing I like about Google Hangout. For any authors out there that are connecting with people doing your book study, I feel like it's such a great it's a great thing for the author, because now this book has been out a little bit over a year, and every group of teachers that I connect with make me think about things in a different way, whether just anything that they contribute. And so I totally suggest to all authors that they make sure people know that if they're available to do that kind of thing. I mean, people have time constraints, I know, but if you can, it's a great thing. And I really recommend Google Hangouts, because because we did this live just now, this is live. Of course, we have no viewers. Who at 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning is going to be, and we didn't advertise it or anything. It's really for me and you, but it's going to go onto my YouTube channel. When you do a Google Hangout, it automatically, whether you know it or not, Sarah, you have a YouTube channel, right? Anybody who has a Gmail account has a YouTube channel. So if you are the one that starts the Google Hangout, and the author should be the one to start the Google Hangout, as soon as you and I hang up, it will load to my account, and anybody that subscribes to me will get a notification. So, I mean, I tell a lot of people, you might not want to subscribe to me because there's my kids and my dogs and all kinds of video on that channel. That's why I do my blog. My blog has a video page. But anyway, people still want to. And so, again, we can always go and see what's a good screenshot, because you and I can go back and watch the 5-minute video or whatever we just did that we can use to advertise it. So I think it'll be great. I think it'll be fantastic. How many teachers do you think are usually, well, how many are in the book study?
The actual teachers that are in the book study, there are, I want to say, I just emailed them. I want to say there's 5 or 6 teachers in the actual book study, but then the administrators have come and kind of been a part of it a little bit. We've met one time in person, and then what we do is we do it virtually, kind of like through Canvas, a Canvas course, and so that's what we've done. But we want to do the culminating, together.
That's so great. So these guys are geographically don't have to be in the same building or room or anything, kind of like what we do on Twitter. Yep. They're kind of doing it at their own pace.
Yes, and I think that was the best thing for. Some of them do want to meet in person. I just talked to a teacher before I even talked to you, and she said, "Oh, I would really just love to meet one more time, and we can talk about the strategies, because we're on part 4 of the book. We're kind of ending it up." And she said, "I'd really just love to meet." And she likes that. But then there are also other teachers that say, "Oh, I would just love to do it, on my respond to the discussion questions that I put up." But they also, it's kind of like a hybrid thing,
Isn't that the answer to the universe? I want to give Valentina ESL some props. She has a great blog post called "The Thread That Binds," where she talks about how they rolled out our 7 steps, SAGLET 7 steps. It's very, very simple, 7 things that you can do to have a real language-rich classroom, but they wanted it district-wide, not just campus-wide. And they did that. She talks in the blog post about how they offered multiple ways for people to engage. So everybody kind of got, I think, an initial training. Maybe you have to read her blog post, but I know some campuses wanted face-to-face. Some campuses wanted to be online Twitter chats, weekly Twitter chat. Some, people will have different preferences.
Right. Exactly.
I think that's great that y'all are doing that. Even for the day that we do the Hangout, somebody might be just more comfortable going, "Sarah, I'm just going to come and sit next to you and listen to whatever you do there," because that's the easiest thing for people. And some people are like, "Well, I'll log in from my campus." Whatever y'all decide to do would be great.
Right. That'd be great.
So that's exciting. Yeah. I know, I'm excited. I have a Mad PD session. Have you been following Mad PD?
I have not. I have not been following Mad PD, but I'm writing it down.
Yeah, and send it to your teachers, because it's happening this Sunday, May 6th, from 8 in the morning until 8 in the evening. I'm just going to put a plug real quick for that. 8, and that's May 6th, 2018, this year. From 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. If you go to the hashtag MAD for Make a Difference, MADPD, you will see that there are over 100 presenters doing YouTube live sessions all day long, every single hour. Wow. I know. So exciting. So I'm going to be traveling that day, but my session is around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock Eastern time. Right. But then at 8 o'clock, my students are going to have a student panel on there. I have 3 kids who are available. And it's kind of like what you're saying. They were like, "But how do we do this, Miss Salva?" I was like, "Come to my house. You can my son's computer. Tony will help you. Nick is going to help one of them." And then Wendy Maldonado was like, "I'll just do it from my phone. I have a Google Hangouts app. I can do it from wherever." I'm like, right. Well, yeah, the kids are so much more tech savvy than me anyway. But we're going to, so a couple things there. One is Mad PD is the bomb for free PD all day long on May 6th. And then the second thing is, I know that there are a lot of ESL sessions that are going to be happening. So if you look for that hashtag, one of those top posts gets you into, it's a flip grid this year. So you can go in the flip grid and see what's happening each hour. And the links are right there to the YouTube live link. That's so fantastic.
I love it. And honestly, I opened myself up to Twitter and things like that this year, because I've been teaching for maybe eight years. I mean, but I feel like that's why I reached out. I was like, I need some new things. I've got to sharpen my saw a little bit with this. So that's why I reached. It's awesome. Yep.
I know. It's almost, well, not almost. It can be overwhelming. It's so much, right? Because I'm the same as you. I was like, well, I feel pretty veteran now. But then when I really got into Twitter, I was like, oh my God, look at all this stuff that I'm not doing. But Noah Daniel put a really good post the other day, and we used it in a session just last week of, start where you are, use what you can, do whatever you can. It's like, don't freak out. Just take what you can and do what you can. And then we're all continue to move forward. I think that's the answer. Right. So I know I'm going to learn a lot from you. I'm super excited to talk with them. I think we're good, Sarah. I know Emily's going to flip out when she sees that we're doing this. What?
I said I'm excited to tell her. She just texted me, so I'm gonna tell her.
And then, of course, I'm going to be in North Carolina and in South Carolina in a couple of months. So going to be, I know July 16th. We'll put in the, when I tweet this out, I'll put the link. But so if any of your teachers, we're going to talk for maybe 30 minutes or an hour or whatever works for you guys. I know I have an hour. But what's super fantastic is that Carolina TESOL is bringing me, and I know the Department of Education there has scholarships for teachers.
I'm applying for one, actually.
Yay. Yay, because we could spend a whole day. That's what helps me, is seeing the strategies modeled, but having an entire day, 6 hours to really go. It's going to be over the book, but from the beginning of the day, like you said, you're just getting into the part 4, which is the strategies. So from the beginning of the day, I'm going to be modeling as if the people in the classroom are a class. So it's nice to sit there and reflect all day on, especially when the new school year is coming up after that. So I really appreciate Carolina TESOL for making that possible in North Carolina and in South Carolina to their teachers. But anyway, we'll just make sure everybody has all those links.
Okay, perfect. Yay!
Yay! Okay, virtual hug.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited. Okay, we'll talk to you soon, Sarah. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.